Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are here, then you are here to watch me review Seeking Sister Wife, Season 3, Episode 11. I didn't write the title down. I really didn't write the title down. Well, I'll have it in the description. We are reviewing Seeking Sister Wife, Season 3, Episode 11. A boring episode. I mean, not much happened. I actually thought that this was the season finale because there was a lot of sort of wrapping up of some of these couples, but no, we do get another episode next week that's just going to be the Snowdens and the Merrifields, but we'll get to that next week. So let's jump into it. I really didn't write the title of the episode. That I'll have it in the description. Okay, so let's start off with the really short segment of the Clarks. Vanessa and Gerard are in the backyard of their home with their family, just hanging out, like playing in the sprinklers and the slip and slide. And Gerard shares that he's just been having a hard time lately. He's been down in the dumps, really questioning whether or not polygamy is something that he and Vanessa should continue on, because the journey has just been hard, I think, in terms specifically of what happened with Kayla. And it's also sort of made him question his identity as a man, a provider, a king. And, you know, he's going through it, and one day his daughter just comes in and tells him like, oh daddy, it's gonna be a good day today, and it sort of just like snaps him out of his funk, and he's reminded of like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be a good day. And maybe also it reminds him to like appreciate what he has already with his beautiful family and his beautiful wife. I mean, isn't that enough? I don't know, that's for him to answer. But fear not, he and Vanessa are still going to pursue this polygamous lifestyle, because Krista is still on deck, the woman in Texas who he and Vanessa are really excited about the prospect of getting to know her and bringing her in, because she is established, she has a career, life experience, and she can bring all that to their kingdom. So they're still gonna pursue her, and that was pretty much it for them. Will they be back next season? Very well, could be. Gerard's sort of like that classic reality TV character. You know, he makes for good TV. He says, you know, crazy things, and he's just one of those guys. So I won't be surprised if we see him back next season, him and Vanessa. Side note, I do know that Kayla is pregnant. I think it was Sheality TV, I watch her reviews, had put like a picture in her YouTube comment section. I'm still learning this stuff. Anyway, she looks to be, to me, about maybe 4 or 5 months pregnant, maybe 6. She's a very like slender girl, so you know the belly, you know, looks maybe bigger than it really is, but I don't know. I really don't know. There's all this speculation that it could be Gerard's baby. I highly doubt that. I would bet all the money in my bank account that it's not. I mean, if we just sort of look at the timeline, she broke up with them during like the beginning of the, I'm not gonna say the word, the panorama, when all that went down. She broke up with him. That was well over a year ago. And like I said, at most she's maybe 6 months pregnant. I really don't think it's Gerard's. I'd be shocked if it was. But you know, babies are a blessing and a beautiful thing. I'm happy for her. I wish her all the best. And let's move on to the Joneses. I'm not even really gonna edit this because these were really short segments, and again, not a lot happened. We were just sort of wrapping up the story here. Sidian and Tasha invite Alexandra over to their house for their sort of triple date. They set up the backyard with the bonfire. They put out like appetizers and desserts. It's all very charming. Alexandra comes over and just doesn't waste any time in getting to know Tasha and asking her just straight out, like, polygamy, what's in it for you, girl? And Tasha says, you know, that she doesn't come from a polygamous background, and, you know, it took a little getting used to, but she just likes the idea of having a big family, in particular the sisterhood that comes with having a sister wife. And essentially to her, you know, it's like a built-in best friend that lives in the house with you. And then Alexandra asks Tasha, you know, are any of Sidian's kids your kids biologically? And Tasha tells her no, she doesn't have any biological children of her own yet, but she does want them. But she doesn't want to have them yet until they have like a sister wife settled into their family. She kind of explained it like, you know, you have Sidian's 3 kids, and if she were to have more kids right now with Sidian, and then a sister wife might feel a little intimidated coming into a family that already has these sort of long, well-established bonds, which I kind of get. I'm always sort of, and if I'm being honest, hesitant to date a man with children. I'm not close to it, but I do worry, you know, how it would be, you know, if you have kids, you have this sort of bond that's already been set and ongoing. Like, how can I possibly catch up and be a part of that? I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just sort of, I guess, maybe my own insecurity, but I think that can be worked out. And it's sort of what Tasha shares with Alexandra, because, you know, the conversation, you know, Tasha shares with her that, you know, it took her a while to sort of acclimate and get into the family and get into the groove. But, you know, Sidian's kids are her kids. They call her mom. She's very comfortable being in that role. And Alexandra says that she just is not ready to have kids, doesn't even know if she wants them. Maybe someday down the line, but certainly right now she is in no way interested in any kind of mother type role, mothering of any kind. Also, she doesn't even know that she wants to get married. Like, she's just living that single life, and finally just lays down the truth of that, you know, she really thinks Tasha and Sidian are a great couple. She loves how open they are, how welcoming they've been, but this isn't going to be a relationship for her. And I'm not shocked. Do I think she led them on? Maybe. Because even Sidian says, you know, that, you know, Alexandra was curious, but she wasn't ever really open to this relationship, and I agree. Hey, I'm interested and I'm curious to learn about polygamy. That's why I watched this show. I would never go out to seek a couple to get my questions answered under the guise of I might be interested in being a part of your relationship, like knowing that that's never really what I'm gonna want to do. And Sidian tells her that, like, you know, it's really hard and difficult to date when you're polygamous to find somebody who's like-minded. I say it's dating sucks in general, and yeah, it probably is harder when you have sort of an alternative lifestyle such as polygamy to find somebody that, you know, is kind of in the same thinking as you are. And the producers ask Tasha and Sidian if they think they'll ever find that person, and Tasha gets emotional and tears up and cries because it's hard. Like I said, dating is hard. I mean, just as a single straight woman, it's hard. You feel like you're never gonna find the one, and you can date a lot of people and kiss a lot of frogs, and you can start to feel hopeless. But I haven't given up hope that I'll meet the one, and neither have the Joneses, because they really do believe in the benefits of living this lifestyle. So they're gonna keep looking, and that's pretty much it on them. Will they be back next season? Maybe. I don't know. They were kind of boring to me too, but I wonder if, like with the Joneses and the Clarks, that if the whole, you know, the whole panorama lockdown didn't really affect their storylines, because I think we probably would have saw the Joneses going out more. They prefer to meet somebody in person organically as opposed to online. We would have seen more dates maybe. Same thing with the Clarks. So they could very well be back next season. I wouldn't hate it if they were. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's move on to the Winders, another kind of boring family. The wives and Colton get together like at the park with their kids to sort of just talk about Kimberly's visit, which was all too short. We all agree. The wives really liked her. They took to her. They appreciated Kimberly's sort of willingness to just jump in, get her hands dirty, help out. So they really liked her. They liked having her around. I liked Kimberly too. She's a sweetheart. But you know, yes, the wives want to and need to get along with whoever the potential sister wife may be, but that's only half of the battle. You know, what really kind of counts is how Colton feels, because if he's not feeling anything, then it doesn't really matter what the wives feel. And he tells them that he just, you know, he doesn't feel anything one way or the other. You know, if he was going to feel a spark or that something, he expected to feel it while she was visiting, and he just never did. And it's not anything he can quite put his finger on. Like, she may check off all the boxes, but just that something just is missing. And I totally get it. You can meet somebody who on paper you know, is perfect. I know such a person. As a matter of fact, I have a friend, a male friend, who has a great career. He's financially established. He owns properties. He's single. He's never been married. He doesn't have kids. He's tall. He's good looking. But I just always ask myself, like, why don't I see him in that way? Like, why, you know, because there's just that chemistry. Chemistry is what makes it happen. You want those butterflies. You want that excitement. And I don't think Colton felt that. I'm not even sure that Kimberly felt that, to be fair. I think what she really appreciated was being around people who live a life that she wants, that she could be open, that she could be honest, that she could be her true self. Was she necessarily feeling it for Colton? Maybe not. So it's going to be a no for them, you know, as far as Kimberly goes. And, you know, Colton shares that, you know, they really have a lot on their plate right now. They had a crazy year. You know, they all finally moved in together. Sophie had a baby. The Panini lockdown happened. Kimberly came. And it's kind of just time to just, you know, it's not that there might not be a future sister wife for them. That's possible. But kind of let's just chill out for a while with what we have. And let's focus on maybe Tammy getting pregnant and having a baby. And I think that's a good idea. So that's where we leave them. You know, as far as Kimberly goes, like I said, I really liked her. I think she was a good sport. I know she got dragged on these reviews on YouTube, and I might have been a little guilty of it as well, as, you know. But I really have to say, TLC ain't shit for like editing her the way they did. I mean, I blame TLC, but you know, Kimberly, if you're watching, you're probably not. I think you're a great girl, and I hope you find what you're looking for. You deserve it. She has a great attitude, and I think she's taken this all, you know, in stride, and you know, she deserves the world. I like Kimberly and just the little time we saw with her. So Kimberly, good luck to you too. So let's move on to the Snowdens. Again, no surprises here. Dimitri's going to propose to Chrissy. Ashley's fine with that. So Dimitri has asked Chrissy out on a date. Chrissy says this will be their second date ever. Okay. They get dressed up because they're going to go out on a date. Really, Dimitri's just going to drive her around in circles in LA while Ashley sets up the backyard for the proposal. Also, I forgot to mention in last week's review that I thought in last week's episode, Chrissy looked very thin to me. I mean, I know when she first came on the show, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. I thought she is just stunningly beautiful. She still is, but she looks extremely thin to me. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know if it's like lack of food in the house. You know, if only she knew then what she knows now. I don't know. She just looks very thin, concerningly thin. And I forgot to mention that, and she still does, but she's still beautiful. Anyway, he drives her around in circles. Ashley and the kids sit at the backyard with twinkle lights and votive candles. It's very, you know, romantical. And he puts a blindfold on her and tells her, you know, I want to take you to like a surprise place. And he just pulls right up into their driveway, walks her out, leads her to the backyard, you know, takes off the blindfold. She's just in awe. He gets down on one knee. He proposes. She says yes. Again, no surprises here. We knew that was going to happen. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that it was spoiled really is no big deal compared to what she's going through and all these other women are going through, but I'm not even going to get into that. So, you know, Ashley comes out, the kids come out, they're all excited. You know, Chrissy's shaking, she's so nervous. Dimitri doesn't give her an engagement ring. He gives her an anklet, because he says in their culture, when you're engaged, you put the anklet on the left ankle, and then when you're married, you move it to the right. This is new to me. I'm not familiar with this tradition, but she's cool with it. You know, they're all excited. It does get brought up, though, that now in order for her to stay in the U.S., she's going to have to marry Dimitri, which will make her the legal Mrs. Snowden. Again, Sheality TV did a really good video about sort of I don't know if I know how to link the video, but I'll put her name in there so you can watch it. Sort of the ramifications of what might happen, because they got married. We know they got married. I mean, if you're at all following the story, Chrissy and Dimitri get married. He's just filed for divorce, but they didn't get married using the K-1 visa. She came over on a travel visa and then married him, which I think isn't, I mean, I guess you're allowed to do it, but it really isn't the way you're supposed to do it. Because you're kind of, she's coming in on a travel visa, saying she's going to travel, but really she has the intent of getting married, because we know that because Dimitri is a convicted felon, these are just the facts, he wouldn't have been able to sponsor her on a K-1 visa. I suppose maybe Ashley could have if they were going to do like a same-sex marriage deal, but I don't think that was kind of the route they wanted to go. So having sort of done this the wrong way, it might affect her visa to stay here in the United States. If that's even what she wants to do, I don't know. She may want to go back home to South Africa. It may affect sort of any future court proceedings and the divorce. Watch Sheality's video. She goes into greater detail and explains it far better than I can, but that's where we leave them. We'll see them more next week, again with the Merrifields, who we can talk about now. Again, not much happened. But it is Garrick and Danielle's 13th wedding anniversary. So they go out to have a little dinner, like a sidewalk cafe. And let me remind you, it's their 13th wedding anniversary, despite the fact that they're divorced, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But Garrick can't stop talking about Roberta this whole time during their anniversary dinner. They sit down and Danielle's like, oh, I can't believe it's been 13, years and we made it. And Garrick's like, yeah, with the thanks be to God, he got us through it. And now he's blessing you with his sister wife, Roberta. And oh, we should take pictures for Roberta. Let's cheers and make a video and send it to Roberta. And I'm just like, can we like for 5 minutes just focus on Danielle, your wife of 13 years? But I guess, I'm always hesitant to say that Garrick is in love. I mean, maybe he is. I mean, I know he's infatuated and enthralled. And I guess, if you think about when you're first in love, like you're all consumed. It's all you think about. It's all you want to talk about. And clearly that's where Garrick is. Like he can't stop talking about Roberta, even at this anniversary dinner with Danielle. Anyway, of course, because we can't stop talking about Roberta, the topic of Garrick and Roberta meeting up in Cabo to start having children comes up. Danielle finally shares that she doesn't think it's such a good idea because, visas aren't guaranteed. What if she gets pregnant? The visa falls through. She has the baby there in Brazil. The baby can't come here. And Garrick's like, oh, that's the worst case scenario. And if that happened, I would definitely have to go to Brazil and stay there for a while. Well, of course you would, Garrick. Of course. That would probably be the best case scenario for you. But Danielle's like, yeah, exactly. Like, we really have to take into consideration everybody, like not just Roberta, not just you, not just me, the kids, the family as a whole. But Garrick, his thinking is, Roberta's 33, she's getting older. She's alone over there. This is really what she wants. He wants to make her happy. I think he might be afraid of losing Roberta. And if Roberta is telling him, I want a baby, I need a baby, I'm getting older, he wants to give her what she wants so that he doesn't lose her. I think is what it is, because even he admits, he hears what Danielle is saying, and her points are valid. He gets it, but, he starts throwing Bible scripture at her. I'm paraphrasing, but, God says in the Bible, just like to live for today. You can't cast your worries on tomorrow because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And, Danielle's like, well, yeah, but also in the Bible, it says that, we should plan for the future. And Garrick said, where in the Bible does it say that? Like, what book, what verse? And I'm just like, girl, throw that back in his face. Here we go, Garrick again, picking and choosing, what he needs from the Bible to twist it in a way to get what he wants. What does the Bible say about divorce, Garrick? What does the Bible say about premarital sex, Garrick? I mean, what about all of those things? I'm not trying to judge him. I'm just throwing it back on him. Because, Danielle as always just kind of nods and is just like, yeah, okay, like, Garrick's going to do what he wants to do. Nobody can talk him out of it. Just get out of his way because he's going to do it, whatever. So they all plan a trip to Cabo. This time they're taking their boys with them and they're taking Danielle's parents. Why her parents want to go, I have no idea. I mean, I'm really trying to think and put myself in their shoes if Danielle were my daughter. You know, I appreciate that they are supportive of her, that they're being there for her. But do I really want to go and be a part of this shit show? Like, I don't, I mean, but I guess, I mean, if Roberta really is going to be in the family and living in the house and they're going to have to be around her, I mean, I suppose we might as well meet her. They say that they've spoken to her on FaceTime, so okay, here we go. And they're well aware of everything that's going on. They know that Garrick is there with the intent to impregnate Roberta because they've scheduled this vacation, this trip around Roberta's like ovulation cycle. Okay, so they all get there to Cabo. I mean, this just happens quick. Like this, they waste no time. They get down there. They've rented a beautiful villa. They're sort of walking through it, checking out all the rooms. And Danielle notices like, oh, this room, it just leads right out to the jacuzzi. And Garrick is, oh, this is me and Roberta's room. Like, I call dibs. Like, of course you do, because Garrick gets what he wants. Nobody can tell him anything. Whatever. You know, the mom, Danielle's mom says like, oh, you know, this is strange. You know, I don't know how I'm going to feel about you two kissing. And I'm like, Mama, I mean, kissing is really like the least of what's going to happen on this trip. Like, I mean, you do know that they're going to be in that room, you know, right outside by the jacuzzi, like getting it on. So, you know, Roberta can have a baby. Like, you're aware of all that. Maybe they're there to like support Danielle because they know this is really just, you know, this trip is just about to explode in everybody's face and they want to be there for their daughter, you know, when this really does all go to hell. I shouldn't say that. You guys know what I mean. It's a shit show, basically. And maybe they just want to be there to support her. I should have said that. I feel bad. Strike that. Strike it. But that's, I mean, you know, I don't know. So they're all just checking out the rooms. The van with Roberta pulls up and it honks and they're like, oh, Bert is here. And I guess we'll see what happens next week. That's pretty much it. Like I said, not much to this episode. We wrapped up the Clarks, the Joneses, and the Winders. We just have the Snowdens and the Merrifields. I think it's just one episode left and I am ready for this to be over. Will there be a reunion show? I doubt it. I doubt it because of what's going on with the Snowdens. I mean, could they really even have them on? Would the Snowdens even be on? I mean, can they even talk about what's going on? Legally, I have no idea. I doubt it. I doubt it, but I'm sure we'll get another season. But I'm ready for this to be done. I'm ready to move on to something new. But I thank you guys for joining me, for, you know, subscribing, those that have subscribed, for hanging out. This has been fun. It's been a learning experience, but yeah, I'm ready for something new. So if you guys have suggestions, let me know. I still intend on reviewing Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to start that. And I guess that's it. So rate, comment, subscribe if you like, and I will see you all next time. You guys have a good evening. Bye.